Hey everyone, Luke McNally from Mass Nutrition and Build My Body here. Today I'm going to talk to you quickly about creatine and specifically creatine monohydrate. So what is it? Creatine's a compound found mostly in red meat. We can't produce it naturally in the body, endogenously, in small amounts. We do find vegetarians and people that don't eat a lot of red meat can be deficient. So in supplementary form, it has been shown to increase strength and size and power. How does it work? So creatine will increase the amount of ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. The ATP system, or the phosphate system, is the energy system that's required to produce very fast or powerful amounts of energy for a short period of time. So think of a weight trainer, a bodybuilder, strength athlete, a thrower, even a explosive fighter. So creatine supplementation will be beneficial for these kinds of people. People that are trying to build muscle, obviously there's a direct correlation between strength and hypertrophy. So being able to increase the amount of reps in a strength program will ultimately lead to increase in muscle size if that's what we're going for. Creatine's been around for a long time. It's around 2 decades now. It's one of the most studied supplements around. It's got a lot of scientific papers, a lot of scientific backing and references behind it. Almost all of the studies that are out there are based solely around creatine monohydrate. There's been a bunch of other creatines that have come out, obviously with the supplement industry. They're always fighting for the newest and best thing. Just because creatine monohydrate is the original one doesn't mean it's not as good, and in fact it has been shown time and time again to be the most effective kind of creatine. We've seen creatine ethyl ester, which proved to be useless, creatine malate, which came along. The latest one is that I've seen was a paper that compared creatine monohydrate to buffered creatine, or sometimes seen as crealkaline. Basically, crealkalines are 98% creatine monohydrate with 2% of a buffer. What they found when they did research on it, they gave people creatine monohydrate or the buffered creatine, and they found no difference, or very negligible difference, actually in favour of the monohydrate. So, which would say to me that the 98% monohydrate in the buffered creatine did the job, and the 2% basically did nothing. So again, that's why we stick with monohydrate. We'll touch on side effects quickly. There's been a few sides that have been reported over the years when it comes to creatine monohydrate use. Mainly the ones that come to mind are bloating and water retention, which can make women run for the hills when they hear the word water retention. We do get water retention from creatine monohydrate, but it's intracellular, it's inside the muscle. So generally it'll make the muscles fuller and harder. And it'll give a woman a toned look because they'll have harder muscles. Subcutaneous water retention is completely different, and if you see a creatine that advertises no water retention, then it's basically telling you that it's no good, because the water retention, intracellular water retention, is one of the mechanisms behind creatine's actions for it to be able to work. There's been a few creatines that have been 75-80% sugar, and they call this in the supplement industry an insulin delivery system, which is again another gimmick to sell creatine. Now, if you're loading a 5 gram serve of creatine with 80 grams of sugar, and you're doing this twice a day and you're doing this for a week, you're going to be bloated and you're going to be fluidy. So that's where I believe a lot of the reported side effects of water retention come from. It's just from a massively increased sugar and carbohydrate intake. The second side effect I'll touch on is kidneys. People have said that creatine, because it's broken down into creatinine in the body, will damage the kidneys. Now, this is not true. Creatine will break down to creatinine. It's the byproduct of creatine, just like increased protein has nitrogen as a byproduct, just like increased carbohydrate has glycogen as a byproduct, fats have ketones. Creatine has creatinine. Testing blood testing after taking creatine and finding creatinine levels simply tells us that the kidneys are working. It means nothing. If you were to do a urine analysis and find that you had creatinine or creatine in the urine, then that's telling you that it's passing through without being broken down into creatinine in the kidneys. So using the two tests together might give us an indication, but that's never been seen. So the creatine breaking down to creatinine causing kidney damage argument is not true. All right, how do we take it? 5 grams a day. That's what I tell everyone, and that's what I take. 5 grams a day, end of story. There's this theory about loading that you've seen. I believe loading is again a gimmick by the supplement industry to sell more creatine, to get you to take a heap more. The studies have shown that at the end of a 4-week period or whatever of taking 5 grams versus a loading padding, there's absolutely no difference. So 5 grams a day. When to take it, it doesn't matter. Some people said pre-workout, post-workout, in the morning and at night. It doesn't matter. So long as the most important thing is not when you take it, but that you do take it, because creatine works on a saturation basis. So you have to take it every day for a period of time to get the benefits out of it. As soon as you stop, creatine levels drain away and you're starting again. So the most important thing to do is to take it 5 grams a day every day. Don't worry about loading, and just get it in. I use our Aminologic Creologic. It's just 100% creatine monohydrate. It's cheap, it's effective. I use it because it's ours, and I know who packs it. It's a very reputable company, and again, it's cheap, and it can be. I'll put a link to it in the description box, so you can link and order it. It's available exclusively in mass nutrition stores. So, guys, that's creatine monohydrate. Again, one of the most effective and most studied supplements for a strength and power athlete or people looking for body composition changes that has ever been about. Thanks very much.